Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Wealthy, Worthy, and Wild podcast. I am your host, Amie, and today's episode is going to be super fun. Andrea is back. Welcome back to the show, Andrea.
Thank you. So happy to be here, obviously.
Obviously. Well, it's just what I realized, so much more fun to have a guest to jam with on these episodes. I mean, sometimes just, talking to myself it gets a little dull, and for myself and for probably the listeners. So I think it's so much more fun to have you on. But anyway, so for those of you guys who don't know, I am a Beautycounter consultant. Andrea is on my Beautycounter team. And one of the questions that I've been getting a lot recently, especially with everything happening with COVID and quarantine, is people want to start their own business, or they're already, have their own Beautycounter business, but they're wondering how they can do it in a way that is completely online. And I have actually been pretty unique, I think, in the way that I've been a consultant now for 4 years. And so even during the time when I was traveling and living in Asia, I was still growing my Beautycounter business. So I think people are pretty interested to know how that's possible. And a lot of people don't really want to do the in-person socials. They're called socials, but it's basically like a party that you host and have your friends come over and sell to them. Andrea, what are your thoughts? Because you've been a consultant now for, I think, only a couple months less than me, right?
Yeah. And I have not so big on the socials, not so big on the in-person stuff. I don't know, is this terrible to say? I just don't like to do stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like to have to be at a certain place at a certain time and be hostessing. That's not my favorite thing. It's my least favorite thing, to be honest. So yes, I have been a Beautycounter consultant for quite a while and have also built my business online. Which I'm sure we'll talk about all of the ways that we've done that, but it has not been with in-person events and parties and that.
Yes.
No shade. If that's what you love to do, it's amazing and you'll have great success as well, but that's just not my forte.
Right. So I think if you're listening to this and you're like, well, I have a lot of in-person contacts and that's what I want to do, that can work really well. But I think that there is a percentage of people like Andrea and myself that either are traveling all the time or are super introverted and don't want to do that. So this episode is going to be all about how to be successful, because I 100% think that you can be extremely successful even if you only ever sell your Beautycounter products online. So yeah, I guess let's just get into it. And another thing about the hosting these kind of promotional socials is what they're called, or what do they call them? Something else now? Socials Pop-ups. Is what they call them. Pop-ups. Okay. Pop-ups. So, but you can also do these online. So I think a lot of people think that you have to have the traditional, you've done them. I think a lot of people think you have to have the traditional, okay, I'm going to send out invites to my friends and they're going to come over at 4 p.m. on Sunday. The way that I've done these before online have been through Facebook Lives or just Instagram. A social is something you literally can set up behind the counter. It's your Beautycounter platform, and then just send people a specific link to purchase, and it goes towards your quote unquote social or pop-up, and you get extra bonuses and stuff from there. So definitely possible to do through social media, Facebook, but that's going to be kind of what we get into. Oh, and then another thing that we're going to kind of be discussing today too is, do you want to talk about this part? It's pretty exciting. The other thing we were going to talk about. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I just felt like I was just dominating the conversation. So I was like, if you don't want to create a membership.
Oh yeah. Okay. So we've really been jamming on this because we think it's so important to be online, and to, especially COVID, I feel has shown all of us the necessity of being able to figure out how to sell things online. And I mean, that's no secret to anybody. But since we talk about, Amie talks about online courses, you guys know that. I help people with membership sites. We do get a lot of people that are curious about how to start a business like this if you don't want to create something digital. You don't want to make an online course right now. You don't want to make a membership site. You don't want to figure out how to do that. But how could you still be making money online? And we both feel like Beautycounter is an excellent way to do that for pretty much anyone that is in health and wellness in any way, because we both have been really successful with this. In I don't want to say passive. I don't think anything's really that passive, but we set up systems a long time ago that are still paying dividends today. So that's kind of what we like to teach, is like, how can you bring something like Beautycounter into your business where you're already talking about living a healthier lifestyle with whatever niche you're talking about. Pretty much putting stuff on your skin or on your kid's skin or your family is going to be something that is relevant to your audience. So how can you bring that in and sell it, make money online, start your online business without having to create anything yourself?
Yeah, and I think that's really exciting, because if you want to, I mean, you could join and start selling it like today. I love online courses, I love membership sites, but they do take, some time on the front end to build up and to promote. So if you want to like hit the ground running, this is a really, really good option. And I'm just curious on your end, how many hours like per week or per month would you say that you allot to Beautycounter related stuff?
Less than 5.
Okay, me too. I mean, much less than 5.
I don't want to set up an unrealistic expectation that it's just like money falls into your lap, but I feel like if you leverage some really good strategies, like we're going to teach them right here, obviously we're going to talk about this right now, that's totally possible, I think.
Yeah. I think on average, I probably spent like maybe 2 to 3 hours a month on Beautycounter related things, because obviously you guys know this is not the main part of my business. But if you're consistent and you stick with it, it can really, really pay off. Again, like I said, we've both been doing this now for like 4 years. And so if you can stick with it and dedicate a couple really strategic hours per month to this, it will really, really pay off. So I think let's just dive into it. Can
I add one thing to that?
Yes, please.
I thought of it as you were saying that. Beautycounter does a freaking awesome job of communicating with people after they purchase from you. So when somebody purchases from you and like goes through your link online, they purchase everything online. You don't buy anything up front. They order all through the website, but then they're like attached to you as your client. So Beautycounter will follow up with them with all the awesome promotions, new products, all that kind of stuff just happens automated behind the scenes. So you are not in charge of constantly promoting all the time and knowing exactly what's going on with Beautycounter, because they do a really good job of it. So I would say that is like, has been fantastic, and is probably why we don't spend as much time on a monthly basis, because Beautycounter really does a great job of it.
Yeah, they definitely do most of the heavy lifting and will follow up with your clients for you, which is great. So I think what I kind of wanted to start with is maybe one of the places that I see people get stuck a lot when they join Beautycounter is that they go straight in for the sale and are only talking about Beautycounter when there's like a promotion or a new product or something. And that, I think, is maybe when we get into a little bit of the waters of being a little bit, I don't want to say spammy, but like a little bit, if you're only showing up when you have something to sell, whether it's your own business or Beautycounter, your audience is going to be a little bit, I think, turned off. So I think where we want to start when it comes to building a 100% online Beautycounter business is starting with leading with value. And so picking and you'll have to let me know what you think about this, but my first recommendation always is like pick a platform that you love. And I think with Beautycounter, something that has a visual aspect to it is the best. So whether that's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, or if you want to do like a blog and just add a lot of photos, I think that can work as well. But just choosing one platform where you're creating value-based content and creating that regularly. And I'll get into more specifics on like what kinds of content to create, because I know you guys are probably like, what do I say? But would you add anything to that?
Yeah, so I love email. So I'm not super active on social media, never really have been when I've been promoting my Beautycounter business. So and we'll talk about this too, but I was able to just really talk to my audience that I already was growing my email list, talking about adrenal fatigue and hormone imbalances, and talking to women that were having those issues, which probably for everybody listening to this, your audience in some way is a woman having a hormonal imbalance. Like, I'm pretty sure that we could say that. So it's like a really good conversation starter, good topic to talk about. And I was just totally fascinated that when I started emailing my list, who had just been, I'd been talking about nutrition and supporting, like, I don't know, I'm kind of deviating the conversation, but we had been talking about nutrition and supporting your hormones with nutrition. They'd never bought anything from me, a lot of them. They'd been, like reading my emails or listening to me on social media when I was posting, but not like not ever really engaging. And then I came out with like, okay, so here's another way to support your health by switching to safer products, and here's why it's important. And I was amazed at how many people became customers just through those emails. But then after they became Beautycounter customers, became like purchasers of my other nutrition products that they had never done before. That was like fascinating to me. Like that was the gateway drug kind of. I just thought it was
totally
super amazing. Yeah.
Well, I think that that's true across the board with anything online business. If you can get somebody to purchase even something that's $15 from you, they're so much more connected to you and bought in for whatever you sell in the future. So that's why I think Beautycounter can be such a great addition to an online course business or your nutrition membership site or whatever else it is. So yeah, I love what you said there. And then also when it comes to creating the type of content that you're creating, I think, again, like we talk about this all the time, but niching down. So just like you would with your nutrition business, you can kind of niche down in the realm of Beautycounter and help and use that niche to help you create content. So what I've always talked about and the products from Beautycounter that I've always really promoted have to deal with the things that I've personally gone through, which are like hormonal acne. So I love the acne line. I talk about how to use the acne products to heal your acne, and then also like dark spots and hyperpigmentation. I'm not very good at doing makeup. I'm not a big makeup person. So I don't really ever promote a lot of the makeup stuff. And so you can really be authentic with this and think about the things that you genuinely use and love and the struggles that you've had as it relates to skincare products. Maybe you could never find something that was non-toxic to use on your kids or whatever it is, and create content around that.
Yeah. Okay, so does everybody know what Beautycounter is? As we're halfway through this conversation, I'm wondering, does everyone know?
Oh my God. I think probably most at this point, but like, let's just give a quick explanation if somebody's like, what is this Beautycounter thing you're talking about?
Yeah. Okay, so Beautycounter is an advocacy company, and it has awesome products, super high performance skincare and health and beauty products, really good makeup, but is also very instrumental in advocating for safer standards for the beauty laws in the United States and Canada, which are very lax, and like you getting the word out about what you're putting on your skin and why it matters. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I think that's great. And then of course, Beautycounter, you can, when you become a consultant, it's basically like you are selling the products to your audience. So this is something we'll get into a little bit more at the end, but up until recently, the only way that you could buy Beautycounter products is through a consultant. But something really exciting is happening in July. There's going to be a Beautycounter pop-up in Sephora. So we're going to talk about that a little later in the episode, but that just gives me such I was going to say something that we say to each other all the time. Oh, okay. It gives me a business boner. Okay. That's the thing that we say to each other all the time. I'm just going to say it so now everybody else can start using it. But when I get really excited about things, this is what happens. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, so we'll get into that a little bit later, but that's really exciting. And I think some of the questions that normally come up when people hear about Beautycounter, I get this all the time. I don't know if you get it, but it's a question about, is it an MLM? Is that something that you get a lot?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think people are pretty like savvy about how things are sold. So yeah, but right. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. And I will, in the show notes, I'll link to another episode that I did that really explains all about is it an MLM, is it not an MLM, and how it kind of functions, because I think that's a totally different conversation. But the simple answer is, I mean, it functions like an MLM. I don't think it technically is considered an MLM, but the way that you go about selling is everything. So we'll talk about that again a little bit later in the episode as well. But like, it's all about how you go about it. I don't ever, and I'm sure you don't either, anybody that joins our team, I'm never encouraging them to like go slide into their friend from high school's DMs and ask them to buy stuff. That's where
no hey girl messages. No hey girls.
No hey girl hey. Nope, no. Not gonna happen. No. Okay. So circling back around to the types of content that you're creating when you're creating a 100% online Beautycounter business. So again, if you're somebody who really loves makeup and you are a makeup artist, I have a couple people on my team who are makeup artists. Makeup tutorials with the Beautycounter products would be just so amazing as like YouTube content. It's not something I personally do because again, I'm not great at makeup, but that could be amazing. Even things like, your AM, PM skincare routine or getting ready with me, products you're loving lately. And then another tip that I like to tell people is that if you use other products besides Beautycounter, show those too, because you really want to be honest. Like, I love Sephora and I love some pretty toxic products as well. And I'm just going to say, like, I show everything. So I think being honest, being authentic about what you use is the best way to be effective.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that, because sometimes you can make a recommendation for somebody, like sometimes if something else is going to work better for their skin or better for whatever they need, and they would really appreciate you not trying to always sell them on a Beautycounter product, even though I feel like there's a lot of, probably you can cover most of the bases with Beautycounter products, but like you said, like there's other things that you like too. So just be honest about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Okay. And then so far we've covered creating content, niching down, and then from there it's like, how do you go in for the sale? So there's kind of two ways that you can go about this. Number one, obviously, so let's say you're doing a makeup tutorial on YouTube and you're talking about, like, these are the products I'm using, these are how I'm using them, this is why I love them. You can obviously link to your personal Beautycounter site in the description of that YouTube video, or, you know, in the link in your Instagram bio or wherever you're creating content, and just send people there and potentially make sales that way. That is an option, but I think the even better option, and you can probably speak to this one really well, is sending the traffic from those content sources to a lead magnet to get people onto your email list. And I know you're like the queen of email, so maybe like you talk about kind of the flow of that method.
Okay. So I want to sell things to people that want to be sold to about this particular thing. So just the flow of selling someone via email is that you want to, our software is super sophisticated. No matter what you use, you can do this. You want to send people more information about something they've already shown interest in. So I talk about in automated email sequences, if you were ever on my email list now or before, whatever, you'd know that you would get a long series of emails from me that will introduce a whole bunch of content, things that get you to know me better, get to know what I do, how I can help you. And along the way, there will be links to click for more information about lots of different topics, right? And then what I do on the back end in my email software is I will send another automated sequence of emails to someone who clicks a particular link. So I guess the reason this would make sense for selling for Beautycounter is that I don't just spam my entire list with, you know, like what I'm using on my super dry skin. I talk about, like Amy's talking about hormonal acne. I'm over here like my skin's as dry as a cork. Who wants to know about it? Come on, let's talk. So I don't send that to everybody that's ever subscribed to my emails, but I do send that content to somebody who's ever clicked a link before showing interest in learning more about Beautycounter or about dry skin or about, you know, anything that would pertain to. So I guess via email, I think it's the most magical way to sell, because you can be so targeted on who you're talking to about what you have for sale and know that they're already interested in it. And just like Amie was saying, just be authentic with what you use and why you use it. Talk like you're talking to a friend. It's not salesy and corporate and weird. I just write emails like I'm writing to my best friend, and I use weird vernacular. And I mean, they probably don't make sense half the time, but I feel like they must on some level because they work. So just be yourself. Use your own voice. Talk about what you're using, why you love it, and don't be afraid to promote something, especially if someone has shown interest thus far. By the time they get to an email where it's time to sell it. Tell them, like, you need this. It's amazing. Here's how you get it. Don't be coy and expect people to go sleuth around and find your Beautycounter site. Like, link to it. Say, this is amazing. This is why you need it. You're going to love it. And just go.
Completely agree. And also, like, this might sound like a lot of work, but I want to just remind people that these email sequences that you've set up, they're pre-scheduled. So it's not like you're having to write new emails every single week related to Beautycounter. You can have a sequence of emails that is triggered when somebody clicks that link about dry skin, and then they're now getting, you know, an email sequence about dry skin products or how to change your nutrition to improve your skin or whatever. And then also, I think another thing that's really important to say too is with email, and why I love selling via email more than anything else, is that you can also implement a lot of the launching strategies that you would use for like a membership site or a course. You can use them related to selling your Beautycounter products. So maybe you're doing like a special promo for everybody who buys $50 worth of products from you within the next 24 hours. You can put a deadline in there. You can have the little countdown timer in there so people have a reason to purchase and get off the fence. And that's always something that I really try and drive home with people about like selling an online course is you have to give people a reason to get off the fence. So make it super juicy for them. And you're going to see way more sales that way than if you just kind of leave it open all the time. You know what I mean?
And you'll be seeing us do that in just a few minutes.
Yes, you will. Absolutely. And then, okay, one more thing I wanted to get into, because I know this is always a question. People have a lot of questions about, or they want examples of what a good lead magnet or what a good opt-in would be to get somebody on your email list for Beautycounter things. So I'm going to just list a couple ideas. I don't know, maybe you want to list a few that you use personally, but just a couple ideas that I had were like, okay, going back to the makeup example, maybe you have like a secret vault of makeup tutorials. And in order for somebody to get access to those, they get on your email list. Or a 3-day nutrition plan for acne-free skin. I feel like this is one that we did together, like back in the day, and it worked really well.
Yeah.
And that actually functioned 2 ways because we were doing nutrition related stuff and skin related stuff. So you can kind of use these both ways. And then also something that I've done personally is my PM skincare routine for clearing up my dark spots and hyperpigmentation. So again, just creating more value for people and giving them even more of a reason to get on your email list. And then if they're opting into something for a specific topic like acne or hyperpigmentation, you know that they're interested in that. So selling them products related to that issue is going to be just totally seamless.
I think that we tend to overcomplicate this a lot and get in our own heads about selling and just like, it has to be perfect. It has to be this like long process. I have to have this comprehensive course or membership site or this like huge thing that I'm going to sell someone to solve their problem. But we just have to remember as a buyer, I think we're all like this. Like you just want to know the product someone uses. Like, just tell me, what do you like? Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, we really overcomplicate it. So
no,
funny.
totally. And I think even now, especially because everybody's kind of been locked in their house without a lot of social interaction in the last couple of months. It's like, I don't know about you, but I like watching somebody do like their skincare routine and show me what they're using and why they're using it. Or even as it relates to food, like, why are you using the certain ingredients that you're using? What is it good for? You know? And I'm an easy sell. If somebody's like, this product cleared up my skin, I'm like, okay, I'm buying it. Tell me where you got it. Okay. So, let's see, what else do we have on here? Oh, another thing that, so I was going to say too, because people might ask, like we said at the beginning of this episode that they're going to be getting Beautycounter related emails once they purchase something, which is great. Getting those HQ emails that's telling you about sales and stuff. But I also think that people really want to hear from you. Like, I don't know about you, but I rarely ever read the emails that come from Beautycounter.
Mm-hmm.
I like to hear from like an actual person that's giving me their real experience with it.
Totally. I just sent out a bunch of like kind of along the lines of COVID having us all just climbing the walls a little bit. I just sent out a bunch of just samples, just to people that have purchased from me, like a bunch of samples, a bunch of cards, and you know, just it was like, why not, right? Just put a bunch together for no rhyme or reason, but just sent out a bunch of stuff. And I have had so many people that have reached out since they got those in the mail, thanking me and just being like, oh my gosh, that was so nice. It doesn't have to be hard. It's just connect with people like in a real way. I don't know. Online, totally. Love it. We can automate everything, but I don't know. I'm not afraid to send actual mail either.
I like that. I think that's a nice little touch. Okay, so should we talk about growing a team? Because obviously you are on my team, and that's another way to make money with Beautycounter. So again, like I mentioned before, you can join as a consultant, and you totally don't have to build a team if you don't want to. But another way to increase the money that you're making is if you do grow a team. So you can make money just as a consultant by like having people purchase the products through you. But if you decide to build a team like Andrea and I have both done, then you're also making a percentage of everything that everybody below you essentially is making as well. Do you want to talk about like how you have been effective at growing a team? Because I don't know this. When you joined, was that your plan or did it just kind of happen naturally? Super
good question. I don't remember. I don't know. I think it just kind of happened. I think people are just really interested. Like, honestly, people just use the products and they really liked it. And Beautycounter does a really good job of explaining why safer beauty and clean beauty is important and is such a leader in that space, but we're seeing it everywhere. Like this partnership with Sephora, which we're going to talk about in a minute, is so huge because Sephora is shifting into the clean beauty space and like understanding that that is the future of all of our products and, you know, legislation and all that, which is amazing. So I think people are really interested in it, but I feel like our teams, or at least mine, has grown really organically from people that use the products and are like, oh my gosh, this stuff is good. This is not like put coconut oil on your face and it's going to heal you. This is actual real high-end products that work, that are amazing, that I love to use. And then they wanted to sell them. So I think that grows really organically, or at least it has for me.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I think when I joined, it wasn't in my plan at all to grow a team. I was kind of like, I'll just see what happens. And I think that it can happen really organically when you are consistently creating content. Like we've talked about this whole episode. When you're creating content, people want to know about, like, oh, so you're actually making money from this. Like, how are you doing this? And you don't have to lead with, hey, join my team. I mean, that can work for some people, but I think that can be where you kind of borderline becoming again, a little bit spammy.
Yeah.
So I think some ideas for, I guess, authentically growing your team without having to necessarily reach out to people. And this is something I'll just say from my own experience that has worked well for me, is showing like behind the scenes of what you do as a consultant, what that looks like. Maybe if you're sending out like little samples to people, just show people behind the scenes of your life and what you're doing. And also talking about your why or your bigger reason for joining. So I know a lot of people have a really personal story behind why they care so much about getting non-toxic skincare into the hands of more people and how it has affected their health or their life. Anything else you would add about like how you've been effective at getting people to join your team?
No, just seriously, just being yourself. And that goes back to anything that you're selling online or elsewhere,
Right.
but especially online. Just don't be a polished robot. Say things like business owner, if that's what you really say.
Yeah, I mean,
if that's what you really say, like we do, then people just need to know what it's all really like. They need to know the real you, and that just
totally
works.
Well,
and not for everybody. I mean, you'll repel some people, but that's all good. Because then you really attract the people that have business owners. It's all good.
That's exactly what I was going to say, is like, by me saying that, guaranteed some people were like, oh my God, that's disgusting. I can't believe you're saying that. And like, maybe those aren't my people, you know, but it's fine. I'm going to be attracting other people who are like, I say that too, you know?
Yeah. And maybe some of them could teach us even how to put on eyeliner someday. That's a goal.
Yeah, I hope so. I really want somebody to join my team who I just am trying to manifest somebody who's like a makeup artist that will give me these makeup tutorials. So that's really why I'm sharing these goals. Okay. So last but not least, before we get into why right now is the best time to become a consultant and more about the Sephora opportunity, do you have any more like what not to do's? Because I kind of already said the main one that I see, like, don't go rogue and then only talk about the sales when sales are happening, because that might seem a little bit salesy. I mean, I am all about selling and like getting that money, but if you're only talking about it when you're going in for the sale, that can seem a little bit inauthentic. And then another thing too, if possible, I think it's much more effective to take your own photos and video of the products rather than just using like the stock images that Beautycounter gives you. I know sometimes like if you don't have good lighting or a good setup, you can totally use what Beautycounter gives you because they do provide materials, but it just looks a lot more, again, authentic. I hate to keep using that word. But if you're showing like your own bathroom and like how you are actually using them, even if it's not quite as polished and not quite as perfect, I think it works much, much better. Would you agree?
Oh, totally. Totally. And I also would say, like, going back to the niche, which we always just have to talk about, it's so repetitive, but it's so important. Think about like, who specifically you're talking to and what else are they interested in? Because you probably have a lot of insight into a lot of things other than Beautycounter that this person probably is interested in. So mix it up, incorporate that into other content that's going to be valuable. I know we've already said this, but just like, that's where I also feel like it can go wrong, is if you're just always promoting for a sale instead of like promoting how does this fit into your lifestyle? Or like, how could this fit into someone's lifestyle in a really organic way? That's just helpful.
Absolutely. All right. So right now, I'm just going to say, I think this is the most exciting time to become a consultant. I don't think I've ever said that before, but I don't know about you. I'm kind of a Sephora whore. I love Sephora. I have to like really rein myself in because I could spend hours there, but I think it's so cool because so Beautycounter has partnered with Sephora and they're doing a pop-up in July, which basically just means there's going to be a little section of Sephora that's going to have, I think, 11 of the most popular best-selling Beautycounter products for people to try. I think what I saw was that the vitamin C serum and the overnight peel were two of the things that are going to be featured.
Yeah, I don't think it's makeup. I think it's mostly skincare.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I mean, honestly, that's my favorite of the Beautycounter products. Like I've said before, I think the skincare is really where Beautycounter shines. So that's really, really exciting. And it's going to be lasting through October. And so you might be wondering if you're listening to this, well, won't that hurt my business if I'm going to be a Beautycounter consultant? Wouldn't it hurt my business if people can just buy it from Sephora? But this is what I will say. Since it's only a pop-up and it's only a limited number of products, Sephora is so much bigger than Beautycounter is right now. So the fact that their products now are going to get in front of so many people that we would never otherwise get in front of only until October. And then if anybody wants to purchase after October, they're going to have to buy through a consultant. So, I mean, anything else you would add to that? Because I feel like that is just huge. And I don't know of any other type of MLM style company that has ever had a pop-up in Sephora.
No, it's so phenomenal. I'm so excited. I think I saw the figure 26 million people that regularly shop at Sephora that will be exposed to Beautycounter and the brand and why it's important, the products. Like, it's so exciting because for those of us that are just making sure people consistently know that we sell Beautycounter, like, come and ask us questions, this is our thing, that they will remember that. Plant that seed and then they will remember that and come to you for it. Or they will see the Sephora mentions about Beautycounter and see all this and be like, what's up with that? I thought you sold this. Do you, like, can you help me? It's just such a good conversation starter. We are all going to benefit from this so much. And then that goes into the holiday season, which is always the biggest time of year anyway, just for shopping for anything, Beautycounter being no different. But that will really launch into the holiday season, which is going to be amazing for all of us.
Totally. And you know what I was just thinking too is like, sometimes, you know, when you go into Sephora, at least for me, I'm completely overwhelmed by the amount of products in there. And I also am, again, quite introverted and I don't really want to ask somebody. But if I knew like, oh, I know somebody specifically who sells this one type of product, maybe I can ask them some questions. So if people associate you with Beautycounter and they go into Sephora and they see that Sephora is selling Beautycounter, they might come and DM you and be like, hey, don't you sell this? Can I ask you some questions about like what would be the best product for me? Stuff like that. So again, I think there are just so many different angles that this is going to be so amazing and so effective, and why right now is the best time to become a consultant. So let's talk about the benefits of joining our team. And by our team, you guys, I specifically mean Andrea, because I am one step above Andrea. So if you join under Andrea or you join Andrea's team, you are essentially also joining my team. And I don't know if we can say much publicly about like the promo if you join our team, but it's going to be quite juicy.
Quite juicy. What can we say? So thanks COVID, there aren't really corporate incentive trips going on, that kind of stuff, because people aren't really traveling, and that made us feel sad. So
yeah, we love to travel.
We do.
So we'll just plant that little seed there. And we think that we attract, I think that the thing that's great about our team is that basically you and I tend to attract a lot of people that want to do this, mostly, if not 100% online.
Yeah.
And I think we really thrive in that area of teaching people how to build their businesses in a way that doesn't require you to do socials if you don't want to. So if that sounds like you, it's a great opportunity, like I said, to join our team right now. The best thing to do to inquire about the special promo would be just to DM Andrea. You can also DM me, but I think Andrea is going to be the point person for this time around. So this will be really exciting. And anything else you want to say to wrap this up? Wait, I was going to ask you. Oh, wait, go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying we're being a little deliberately vague about why joining our team right now is such a good plan, but we just don't want to like overstep on anything that we shouldn't be saying publicly, I guess. I don't know. You just, send me a message. It's fine.
I think like these types of conversations are also just better to have one-on-one. And I think it's always good. Like I like to have a one-on-one conversation with everybody who joins my team before they join, just to kind of lay the foundation of like, hey, I'm not going to be the type of mentor that's DMing you every week to ask you if you've hit your goals. Like I know that people who join our team are self-motivated, and yes, we're here to help them, but we're not going to be like up your ass trying to get you to hit a certain amount. That's up to you. It's your business. Yeah. You can work as much as you want, as little as you want. And I think that's another thing that's pretty exciting about it too. So one last thing I was just going to ask you is what your favorite product is.
I love the vitamin C serum, and I love the Resurfacing Peel, the overnight peel. So I was going to say,
okay, well, that's cool. Those are the two of the things that are going to be at Sephora. The Resurfacing Peel, you guys, if you have hyperpigmentation or dark spots, I absolutely love. You put it on at night, and then I swear to God, the next morning you wake up and your skin is so soft. Mm-hmm. It's like nothing. It's like I used that a lot when I was traveling and I couldn't get to like a place where I could get a decent facial. I would just use that and it would work almost just as well. So it's pretty insane.
And we have totally opposite skin types, I think. And I love it just as much. Like, I just think for any skin type, really, I have super dry skin. And I thought because it's fruit acid and it kind of like it sloughs away the outer layers of your skin, which is what it's amazing. But I thought it would dry me out so bad. But really what it does, if you have dry skin, like, let me just tell you all about it. It will take off the layers so that your moisturizer penetrates better and you actually can moisturize your skin better. It's amazing.
It's amazing. Okay, cool. Well, we will wrap it up there. Again, you guys, make sure to DM Andrea or myself if you have any questions. And we hope this episode was helpful for you. If you have other questions about, even if you're already a Beautycounter consultant and you just want more tips on like how to be more effective in your business, I'm so happy to talk about this to people, whether you're on our team or not. I think it's so fun. And thank you guys for listening. So I don't know, Andrea, I think you're going to become like a regular guest on the podcast. So it might be us together next week, or it might just be me, but we'll see.
I'm up for it. I love it.
Okay. I'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Bye.